help them understand their responsibility and break all the stereotypes of what it means to be a not just a dad. Anything can birth a child, but to be a father, to be that social strength and direction and leadership in a family, in a household, so that whatever desires and ambitions a person might have, they can live them out, not trying to reproduce themselves and their children, but help them have clear direction about their future.
Should children grow up resenting the father that left them?
You know, that's so personal. I think the impact that is made on a child has a lot to do with what they knew about the man who is their father. The other thing is how their mother responded. You know, I think a lot of bitterness in a child's life can be avoided if the mother's not bitter. And I can't speak for that emotional aspect because I don't know what any one individual has endured as an abandoned spouse or an abused spouse, or the things that are associated with troubled marriages. But when a child is nurtured and encouraged and taught positive things, and I know examples of mothers that have raised children and never spoke an ill word about her children's father. So it's all about how that example is lived out before children who are a little bit older and got a chance to make a connection and build a relationship with dads, and maybe they had reached the age of 5 or 6, so they have some strong memories about who dad is, and you know what type of relationship they had managed to build up to that point. If it was a good one, they formulated their own ideas and opinions about their dad. So the caregiver from that point is the one who's going to shape and mold the heart, the mind, and the thinking of that child and what they feel about their father.
Right. I know every situation is different, but in your marriage, when things got rocky, maybe not a long time like many marriages, but what kept you there? What kept you there as a father and a husband?
I always go back when anyone asks that question to me. It is the relationship my wife and I both have with Jesus Christ. That is the anchor of our relationship. It's greater than the sum total of all the parts, because in what we've learned over the years about who God is and what He means to us, we have been able to always go back to that point as the benchmark and the linchpin of our relationship. And in learning and understanding that, it has caused us to grow in our love relationship, which continues to grow even after 35 years. We're still learning about each other, and we're still, as in spite of all that we know and all that we've experienced, we keep the relationship vibrant because we have that as the focal point, wanting to pass along our values and our belief to our children and now to our grandchildren, and encouraging them to look at our example and take from it and build on it. And that has been the sustaining force in our relationship.
As a pastor, when single mothers come to you, as a pastor, how would you tell a single mother to explain the absence of the father in the household?
You know, again, that I need to know a little bit about the background on, what happened. Why is she a single mother? You know, what type of pitfalls that were laid before them, because anytime a young person enters into a relationship and not thinking about the future, what will happen when I come together with this young man, and our passion produces a child, and a child come, and the passion is gone, and just the responsibility. What was I hoping to accomplish in this relationship from the very beginning? Was it just purely passionate love and not the real commitment to a future and wanting to build a future together? So sometimes we have to own our mistakes, even with our children. We may have to be as straightforward as saying, "No, I really didn't know what I was doing, and I'm sorry that my mistake has affected you to the point where you don't have a dad, and but before this happens again, the next man that, or particularly as a young woman, the next man I trust my heart to, he'll have to love you first."
Wow. I know that men, it takes a man to raise a man. So without there being a father in the household, can a woman successfully raise a child, especially a boy, on her own?
I think yes. I'll unequivocally say yes. But I know there are some things that that young man won't learn because the mother won't know how to teach him. But again, there are examples. There are people that God will put in all of our lives to help us get to that place that He's ordained for our lives anyway. And whether it is a deacon at a church, a coach at some venture in his life, point in his life. So, but as a pastor, and in counseling young men that are planning to get married, one of the areas that we talk about is the sexual experience, and many men learn what they are going to carry into their marital relationship and into their bedroom from the street, and they didn't learn from someone who has nurtured intimate relationship and learn to love their wives by first the experience that they've gleaned from a father or a close male that can explain to them some of the delicacies that need to be a part of the love relationship. The gentle aspects, particularly in our society. And I'll cite one example that seemed to elude a lot of men, young and old alike, and that is in a society that we have today where women are working to help provide some of the finer things in life that we all want to have. She works 8, 9, 10 hours a day. He works 8, 9, 10 hours a day. Then the rough edges that still left from a hard day's work need to be smoothed off by a nap, a little reprieve, a refreshing. So for her to come home and work 4 more hours in the house, doing dishes, preparing meals, getting children ready for bed, and then he expect a willing mate in the bed, that doesn't happen very often. So those kind of things, if no one teaches you that, you won't know, and you'll be asking yourself, well, why doesn't she want to be intimate with me? When the simple answer is, she's tired, and your touch feels like sandpaper. It does not feel like an inviting romance.
What do most dads? Do most dads leave, or are they pushed out of the